Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk with Robert White with the Renewable Fuels Association. They've been in the news a lot recently about all the different things when it comes to biofuels, so we'll have a good conversation with him that we did a few weeks ago. Also, we'll have features from Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture, as well as Kansas Grain Sorghum, and our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, and markets from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers, Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, KFB.org, and the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com.
Well, President Biden's Ag Secretary nominee pledged to address discrimination in USDA. He met before the Senate Ag Committee confirmation hearing. Tom Vilsack told lawmakers he will also seek to remove barriers for access to anyone that qualifies for nutrition assistance. In a statement, he vowed to ensure that USDA will do his part to end the COVID-19 pandemic. He'll also lead the federal government in building and maintaining new markets, stop the farm debt cycle, create transparency in pricing through the supply chain. Vilsack, who was Ag Secretary during the Obama administration, also seeks to restore employee morale at USDA back to, he said, the level it was when he was last Ag Secretary. Well, the committee advanced the nomination to the full Senate following his confirmation hearing. The Ag Economy Barometer from the CME Group and Purdue drifted lower in January. The reading number of 167, a decline of 7 points compared to December. That was also equal to the November reading. Organizers say the barometer's decline over the last 3 months attributable to weaker expectations for the future. That future of expectations index has fallen 35 points, or about 19% since just October. The decline in future expectations stand in contrast to the index of current conditions, which in January, 21 points or 12% higher in October. The ongoing strength of the current condition index appears to be driven by the crop price strength, but the deterioration of the future expectations index seems motivated by concerns about future environmental and tax policies and the outcome of the trade dispute with China. Meanwhile, 3 out of 10 farms, that is, are aware of opportunities to receive some carbon capture payments on their farm. About a fifth of those farms are already engaged in discussions about contracting to receive those payments. And farm bankruptcies were down slightly in 2020, but one industry economist warns that farmers not quite out of the woods yet. Caseload statistics from the U.S. courts indicate Chapter 12 farm bankruptcies totaled 552 filings in 2020, that down 43 or 7% from 2019, third highest over the last decade. According to the Kansas City Federal Reserve, delinquency rates at commercial banks continue to increase. USDA also temporarily suspended debt collections, foreclosures, and other activities sold farm loans to support distressed farm borrowers. John Newton, who is Farm Bureau's chief economist, says the key to turning the farm economy around is a recovery from COVID, restored biofuel demand, increased trade, new income sources, and adapting some climate-smart practices and ecosystem service type markets. You can find more ag news online at agview.net. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
And joining us now is Robert White, Vice President of Industry Relations for the Renewable Fuels Association. Robert, always great to catch up with you.
Good to see you again, Ken.
Well, the ethanol industry, boy, that has been quite a story as we look back on what 2020 was. We have seen the highs, we have seen the lows. I guess if I was a surfer, you might have enjoyed the ride.
That's right. I mean, you go back to the beginning of the year, and we had a huge win in the 10th Circuit Court case, which basically said that almost all of the small refinery exemptions that EPA had been granting carte blanche since the Trump administration had taken over were illegal and needed to be rescinded and taken back, and those gallons to be reallocated. That was a huge win that sent shockwaves across not only the oil industry, but ethanol as a whole. And so we were excited about the opportunity of 2020. And of course, March comes along and the country starts shutting down. Vehicle miles traveled fall off a cliff because so many people were working from home and not getting out during lockdowns and quarantines. And then again, hinging off the 10th Circuit Court case, you had gap year waivers, which are these notions of filling the gaps that the 10th Circuit Court case said you couldn't have in order to qualify for waivers. Saw a little uptick in the summer months from people getting back to the offices, a little more traveling, and we were really riding the wave of USDA's HBIP program, which is funneling about $86 million in the ethanol infrastructure at the retail side. And we hope and know that in the next 18 months, we're going to see a good uptick in E15 and E85 availability.
So have we turned the corner as far as the education is paying off? We continue to see stronger usage, or do we still need that extra kind of kick, if you will, from the feds to help in this process?
Well, until they stop rewarding the oil industry for everything they do, we will continue to need that support as well. I mean, just during the COVID crisis and the handouts that have been given, I mean, ethanol still sits here waiting for anything to come about to help us offset our financial crisis given the pandemic. I mean, we're still providing half of the CO2 in this country. That's again going to be needed in a high capacity when the vaccines are ready to be distributed, from everything from dry ice to the packing plants for food. I mean, we're so entrenched in this economy and in agriculture that I think a lot of people don't understand that. But at every turn, the oil industry continues to get those handouts. I think that'll be a little different under a Biden administration, but nonetheless, the pandemic is still here and it's still affecting us.
Robert White is Vice President of Industry Relations with the Renewable Fuels Association. We're going to take a break, and Robert kind of set us up for what we want to talk about when we come back. That is looking forward to what a new administration and other things might bring. Stay with us.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
And joining us is Robert White, who, of course, another one of those great Kansans that has continues to do us proud. And Robert does a great job for the Renewable Fuels Association. He's the Vice President of Industry Relations. And so, Robert, I want to kind of talk about looking into 2021 now with a Biden administration. Folks have said that he is committed to getting rid of some of these small refinery exemptions, at least curtailing them, if not eliminating them, but also some of the things we're hearing of what policy might be. Where do you and RFA see ethanol playing in a role of energy policy moving forward?
Well, we definitely do see ethanol playing an important role, not only in the short term, but the long term. First off, back to the small refinery exemptions. We had small refinery exemptions under the Obama-Biden administration, but they were a little more rare. And we think with the 10th Circuit Court case decision, that will be fully implemented, and SREs will go back to the origination of those companies that truly need that waiver, truly have that financial burden and can prove it, that will get those exemptions. But advancing on into future policy, there's a lot of rhetoric around what a fossil fuel reduction or elimination, what electric vehicles will do to ethanol. The short term is we have 250 million vehicles on the road that need liquid transportation fuel. We have another 5 years of production already determined, and of course, millions on dealerships across the country that will need that liquid fuel. So if these states and the feds want to get to a low carbon scenario quicker, we can help them through ethanol. As far as long-term is considered, it's all around zero emission, net zero emissions. And actually, if you start at the tailpipe and you consider the corn production, the absorption of CO2 through photosynthesis, corn and ethanol can play an important role in that, and we can in fact compete. And I think that's being lost in the recent conversations around California and what the Biden administration might do.
I guess that is maybe the follow-up question. Is California the biggest challenge?
California always is unique to all other states, but we have to, take a history lesson here. Governor Schwarzenegger, back in 2009, said they would have 20% EVs by 2020. They didn't even crack 2%. Sometimes executive orders and opinions and notions get ahead of the reality of the technology. Granted, EVs are further along than they ever have been. There's a lot of promise there, but again, California is using more ethanol than any other state. Their low carbon fuel standard is driving that because of the low carbon scores of the ethanol coming from the Midwest to help with that program. So while California is something we always have to spend a little more time on than the other states, they are a huge market, and there's a lot of opportunity there.
Well, Robert, we appreciate the update on things going on and moving forward with ethanol and the Renewable Fuels Association. It's always great to catch up with you.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
Robert White with the Renewable Fuel Association has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
On the agenda for the March 8th meeting of the Kansas Soybean Commission is filling the 2 at-large positions on the commission. Commissioners volunteer their time to oversee the investment of checkoff dollars to improve profit potential for all soybean farmers in Kansas. They attend 3 meetings annually and participate in conference calls between those meetings. The soybean checkoff reimburses commissioners for travel and other expenses related to their service. For individuals wanting to be involved in the process of managing checkoff funds, applications for the at-large positions are available online through February 28th at www.kansassoybeans.org/forms. Applicants may also call the soybean office at 877-577-6923 for assistance or additional information. Applicants must be a Kansas resident at least 18 years old and must have been engaged in growing soybeans within the last 3 years to qualify. The Commission seeks to ensure, to the best of its ability, that appointees reflect the diversity of the farmers it serves in terms of farm size, experience, production methods, and marketing strategies. The appointees take their seats on the Commission at the annual meeting in August. 9 farmer leaders serve on the Commission, each elected by region to a 3-year term. The Commissioners at Large term cycle coincides with the election of the single commissioner for Districts 1, 2, and 3 in the western third of the state.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
In the spring of 2020, the Kansas Department of Agriculture's Agricultural Laboratory was excited to move into a brand new facility in Manhattan, next door to our main headquarters building. The building was designed specifically for the needs of the program, so we can be more efficient in our day-to-day testing activities as we work to meet specific program needs, and provides room to grow for future agricultural testing needs. The KDA laboratory serves the rest of the agency and the citizens of Kansas by providing accurate and timely test results for programs in our Division of Agribusiness Services. We conduct tests regarding food and feed safety, serving our mission to protect human and animal health, as well as testing to verify label claims, which helps to protect consumers from economic fraud. Soon, our metrology lab will be able to provide a broad scope of mass and volume calibration services. The modern infrastructure of the new lab building supports the ongoing need to offer the latest technology in laboratory analytics and a state-of-the-art multipurpose room that broadens our ability to interact with our partners and stakeholders for training and virtual meetings. Our laboratory team has a broad range of analytical skills. We have chemists, microbiologists, and metrologists on staff who work together to ensure that the quality of our test results continues to meet nationally and internationally recognized standards for traceability and legal defensibility. Kansans know that they can rely on our data to make important regulatory or business decisions. The KDA Ag Lab team successfully relocated during the COVID-19 pandemic. Relocation is a daunting task on its own without also having to manage an ongoing pandemic. We love having the lab just a few steps away from agency headquarters and K-State because of the new opportunities for collaboration this location provides. We're looking forward to hosting a grand opening soon.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Starting the new year off with sustained momentum, the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission met for its first meeting of the calendar year on January 28th to listen and discuss updates for current and positive market trends. The Commission is a producer-funded organization committed to sorghum promotion and research designed to develop and expand new markets for sorghum. During their meeting, the Commission received presentations from state and national partners, including from Kansas Secretary of Agriculture Mike Beam, as well as from the United Sorghum Checkoff program under its new executive director, Norma Rich Johnson, who started in her role at the beginning of the year. Johnson replaces Florentino Lopez, who has served as the organization's executive director since 2011. Lopez will continue to serve the sorghum industry in a new capacity consulting on international market development. The groundswell of momentum for grain sorghum continues as the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission received almost a half dozen candidates vying for just several spots on the organization's board. Next, producers will have the chance to vote to fill these leadership positions to help direct checkoff dollars within our state. In fact, since this year began, K-State and the Kansas Department of Agriculture have mailed out more than 1,100 Kansas Commodity Commission election ballots to growers who registered to vote for commission elections up for grabs this year in the 3 USDA crop districts in western Kansas alone. Growers are currently receiving ballots in their mailboxes, and KDA will count the selections between now and March 1st. So good luck to each candidate, and if you're interested in becoming more involved in the commission, contact us at ksgrainsorghum.org for new opportunities. For Kansas Grain Sorghum, this is Adam York.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the soybean checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Bipartisan legislation recently was introduced that would create new opportunities for cattle producers and smaller processors to market beef products. Brought forth by U.S. Representatives Dusty Johnson of South Dakota and Henry Cuellar of Texas, the Direct Interstate Retail Exemption for Certain Transactions Act of 2021 would allow retail quantities of meat processed under state inspection to be sold across state lines through e-commerce, providing beef producers and local processors alike with more options to market direct to consumers. According to National Cattlemen's Beef Association Policy Division Chair Todd Wilkinson, a rancher from South Dakota, the pandemic highlighted an urgent need for the industry to expand opportunities for state-inspected meat packers. He said the Direct Act will allow cattle producers and smaller beef processors to more easily evolve to meet the growing demand for e-commerce sales. The act would amend the retail exemption under the Federal Meat Inspection Act and Poultry Products Inspection Act to allow processors, butchers, and other retailers to sell normal retail quantities of state-inspected meat, which is 300 pounds for beef, 100 pounds for pork, and 27.5 pounds for lamb, to consumers across the state lines. Since transactions authorized under the Direct Act would be direct to consumer via e-commerce, sales would be traceable and easily recalled if necessary.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Good morning, Zach Gotot here with K-Coe Isom. Well, this year seems to continue to throw us a few curveballs, especially in the stock market over the last couple of weeks when we saw GameStop, AMC, Nokia and others get a fresh new wind from all the folks with a Robinhood trading account who decided to not only dip their toes, but jump full force into the thick of the stock market and run the price of these shares to unprecedented levels. These average Joes caused quite a stir on Wall Street and got a lot of folks worked up. Of course, this past week it seems the fun may have faded for now as we're coming back to reality. In the ag markets, we too have been on quite the ride since September, and it seems that the news wants to remain friendly. We've got a few hurdles in front of us, first one being another USDA report on Tuesday, as well as insurance price being set this month. We've got the planning intentions report at the end of March, as well as the big questions of the Chinese buying and South American weather. We had a number of single bullish items all fall right into place this past year, and we continued to keep getting friendly headlines to keep the bulls fed. Like every market, the news is never more bullish when we're at the top, and when we're at the bottom, it can only go lower. And we won't know we're at either spot until it's too late. For instance, look at GameStop. Any sane person would have thought that we need to sell it when it got to $350, but it looked like it was going to $500 at the time. So we hang on it and miss opportunities. Even now, when we're just under $100 a share, why sell here when we're just up there? Even though this is still a great price for a stock that spent a lot of its time in the single digits in recent history. That's where we're at in the grain space. Can we keep going higher? Certainly, and it looks like we probably will. But maybe we need to take a step back and look where we're at. We're at the highest prices we've been in 7 years. I'm not saying throw in the towel and be done, but respect this move that we've seen, but also respect the upside. And there's tools out there that allow you to do that. If you'd like to discuss these topics or any markets, give us a call at 888-452-8751. I'm Zach Gotot. Have a productive day.
Well, that's our show this week. Be social with us at KansasAgReport.net or on other social media channels. I'm Ken Rogers. Stay strong, Kansas. We'll see you next week.
Kansans are saving money and getting quality coverage with Kansas Farm Bureau health plans.
We've had the Kansas Farm Bureau health plan since January. Had great success using it. We picked up some prescriptions and that was fully covered, and that was amazing to us because years past we've had the flu in our household and we've had to pay about $115 out of pocket for that one prescription. So knowing that we have the ability for an antibiotic or things like that that we may need, that it's covered, is a really great feeling.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the soybean checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.